Let's get right into it. There's this secret pattern, this hidden system for how our minds actually learn things for good, not just for an hour or two. It all boils down to three core pillars, and today, we're going to break them down one by one.
We've all been there, right? You cram for a test, you watch a 2-hour tutorial, and you feel like, okay, I got this. But then a week goes by, and it's just gone. Poof. Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't your memory, it's your method.
And this slide just nails the core issue. See, we mix up understanding with learning. Understanding is passive. It's when you're watching or listening and just kind of nodding along. It feels easy, but it's totally temporary. Real learning? That's active. It's taking that information and actually rebuilding it inside your own head. That's the stuff that sticks.
So, how do we get to that permanent, real learning? Well, it all starts with the first pillar. And honestly, it's going to sound a little weird. It's about embracing something our entire modern world tells us to avoid: friction.
The common belief is that if we can make learning easier, we'll make it better. We look for the summary, the shortcut, anything to make it feel smooth. But the cognitive truth is the complete opposite. Real, permanent learning requires effort. That feeling of discomfort, of struggle, that's not a sign you're failing. It's the sign your brain is literally growing and rewiring itself.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? If there's no fight, no struggle, there's no memory. Your brain isn't a hard drive where you just drag and drop files. It's a muscle, and muscles only get stronger when they have to push against some resistance. And this brings us to a really cool idea called the effort-time exchange. Basically, you buy future time with present effort. That intense mental energy you spend really wrestling with an idea right now saves you hours, maybe even days, of having to relearn it later. It's a big investment up front for a massive long-term payoff.
So let's dive a little deeper into this first pillar. It's all about consciously choosing effort over ease. It's about intentionally making your mind work instead of just letting new information wash over you like a warm bath.
What's so wild about this is how it completely flips the idea of learning fast. It's not about finding a cheat code. It's about finding the right level of difficulty, that perfect sweet spot where your brain is forced to work and suddenly all those confusing pieces start to click into place.
So, how do you actually do this? Here's a super simple, incredibly powerful challenge. Next time you're reading something, just try this. Read one single paragraph. Then, close the book or shut the laptop. And now, try to explain what you just read out loud, just using your own words. You'll feel that little bit of mental tension. That's it. That's the friction. That's where learning catches fire.
And there's actual science behind this. It's called the generation effect. The key takeaway is that our brains are wired to remember what we create, not just what we consume. By forcing yourself to explain it, you're literally generating the knowledge inside your own head, and that makes it stick.
Okay, let's move on to our second pillar, because effort alone isn't quite enough. That effort needs a direction. You have to organize the information you're taking in. A brain full of disconnected facts is basically just a messy room. You know the stuff is in there, but you can't find anything.
This shifts our entire focus, doesn't it? We always think the genius is the person who gets it in a flash. But true mastery isn't about the speed of understanding. It's about being a master architect of knowledge, building a mental library where you know exactly how everything connects.
So, how do we get better at organizing? First, forget that whole idea of having one fixed learning style. A true learner adapts. As you're listening or reading, don't just absorb the words. Mentally reconstruct the idea. Build your own map of it. And when you take notes, please stop being a court stenographer. Don't just copy. Your job is to simplify and connect the dots in a way that makes sense to you.
And if you need one single master key to unlock this entire pillar, it is this question right here. Just asking yourself, how could I explain this, is the trigger. It flips a switch in your brain from being a passive bucket for information to an active builder of clarity.
This brings us to the third and final pillar. And, well, this might be the one that makes us the most nervous. It's all about testing yourself before you feel ready. It's about learning to love your mistakes.
I mean, this is the classic nightmare scenario. We study, we read, we feel pretty good, and then we walk into the final exam and bam, we're hit with all the things we didn't really know. And by then, the game's over. The whole point of this pillar is to find those gaps way, way earlier. The solution is what's called the mastery cycle. It's a super simple loop. Learn a tiny piece of something, test yourself on it immediately, figure out what you got wrong, fix it, and then do it again. See, learning isn't one big event. It's just a whole bunch of these little loops stacked on top of each other.
And this is the huge mindset shift. We think of tests as a final judgment. We need to start seeing them as the best learning tool we have. An error isn't failure. An error is a perfectly targeted piece of feedback that points a giant flashing arrow at exactly what you need to work on next. Okay, let's put this all together. Let's look at the complete path to mastery. These three pillars, effort, organization, and iteration, they're not just separate tactics. They are a complete, interconnected system for learning anything deeply and effectively. And this illustrates the whole framework perfectly. You need active effort to get your brain in the game, you need mental organization to give that effort structure, and you need constant iteration to find your blind spots and get stronger. When all three are working together, learning becomes almost effortless, in a weird, effortful way.
So from now on, whenever you sit down to learn something, use this as your personal dashboard. Just ask yourself, are all three lights on? Am I just passively scanning words, or am I actually thinking? Am I just collecting facts, or am I organizing them? And am I just hoping I get it, or am I actually testing myself to prove it?
And really, that's what it all comes down to, isn't it? We live in this world that's obsessed with consumption, getting through more books, watching more videos, just covering more ground. But this whole system challenges us to shift our goal. Instead of aiming to cover more, what if our goal was simply to think more? Because in the end, that is the only thing that actually leads to learning that lasts a lifetime.